Race drivers, this is Enzo with another race driver coach show from the car again. I'm out the studio more than I'm in it at the minute, but it's still an important message, definitely, to a lot of people that watch this YouTube channel. And the topic is, which you know because you clicked on it, is when you're chasing for something, a big thing, a dream of yours, but it just doesn't seem to be happening. It's not happening quick enough. You don't seem to be making the progress. You've got your family and people that, you know, you're either trying to impress or you admire saying to you, it's not going to happen. You feel like they don't believe in you, right? And it's not a nice place to be. It's difficult because when you're trying to be a race driver, if that's what you're here for, it's the kind of dream to have that is nearly out of your control. Because if you don't have the cash to race and you've still got big dreams in this sport and you haven't got the track time, you've hardly ever been in a car, you probably haven't even been in a car, but you've still got this dream that's burning inside you, it's so difficult because not only do you not know where to start, but you don't know how to get the kind of cash that you need to even start in the first place, to even test, to even get a race license. And that's what makes this industry so damn crushing for me, because there's so much talent out there, a lot more talent than what we're seeing, than people that have been born into a lifestyle where their parents can afford to help them race and they do karting for 10 years and they go into cars, and obviously they're pretty damn good, but there's more naturally talented drivers out there that haven't had the chance, haven't got the cash, and are just having to dream. And it's not easy. It's not easy, and you know, if you're watching this, it's difficult, and I've been there. I've been that pizza delivery guy who had had education but no qualifications, really, just bummed through school, wanted to be a race driver. Eventually, I did become a race driver. I wasn't like a paid professional who at the dizzy heights of the sport, but I still made it. I still made it happen. I did the first rungs of the ladder before becoming a coach and going my own way, because that was my destiny, was to become a coach, because, you know, a life coach, and I coach people in different sports and all this. That's really where my passion is. But it started in motorsport. That was what really set the foundation of showing me what's possible. And it took me about 3 years, I'd say, to get my race license, even though I loved motorsport for about 10 years before that. Get my race license, save up, buy a race car, you know this story, and then win the championship in 2 years and carry on, went into like touring car type driving and GTs and all this. So it's possible. That's what I'm saying, for someone who's born in a council estate, like a projects like me, to go and do that. And the one thing I want to tell you is that you can do it, no matter what country you're from. There's no motorsport there, you know, say motorsport's dead in my country, there's nothing there, no one really wants to support it. No matter where you're from and how much money you've got, it is possible to actually create some kind of lifestyle, to go to a different country, to emigrate, get a job, to then race in something that's very low level, that's achievable, that's kind of affordable, that you can do for like 10 grand pounds a year. That is possible. But the one thing it's going to take is all of your time, and it's going to take a serious amount of time. You're going to have to jump through certain hoops. You're going to have to learn how to drive itself right as well. Don't forget that it is a skill. It's not just money and then that takes you to the top. But it's not easy. So the first thing I want you to get rid of completely is your feeling that it's hopeless. Feeling that nobody believes in me. That's the first thing. It's nobody's job to believe in you. If you saw it from the outside and you saw your situation of somebody else's eyes looking into your life, and you can see that this person's kind of working hard, but not fully on their racing. They want to be a race driver, but each week that you ask them, or month or year that you ask them, how's it going? They say, oh, still haven't made it, still haven't managed to do it. You're not going to believe in them, are you? It's not your job to. You're not in their world. You can probably see that they could do things better, and you're like, nah, it's not going to happen. So you can't blame people for not believing in you. That's just normal. But it's irrelevant. It's you that have got to believe in you. It's you that have got to have the goal in the first place. Then you've got to reverse engineer that goal to say, right, what's step number one? What is it the first thing I've got to do? And then you stick a deadline on it. So say if you've got to call up the race schools to go and get your license, right, goal number one for this week is to decide, to speak to race schools, to decide which one it is, to get the prices, and then I know exactly what I need to do. I need to know how much money I need to raise to get there and all this. And then goal number two is get that money in. If it costs $2,000 to go and do this race course, or 200, I'm going to get the money together and I'm going to get that race license. So it is literally just one step at a time. You can have this amazing goal, brilliant. It drives you. You see even Formula One in your dreams. You're like, wow, I want to be there. But it's like, all right, that's great. But let's just get to step number one now and put all your energy into completing that step number one. This is not rocket science. It's like doing a marathon. You're dreaming of finishing the marathon. But if you don't take step one, literally step one, step two, step three, you're never going to reach the end. So I want you to really put a lot of pressure on you now, not for the goal, the big one, but for what you're going to do this week. And you make sure that you bloody do it. You put all your effort into it. And then as soon as you're at the end of the week, you look at the next step and you make sure that you bleed and you sweat to achieve that next step, that next goal, the other person that you're going to talk to. And you fill your days of all these small little actions you can take to achieve the weekly goal. And you do this for 4, 5, 6 years until you start to make progress. That's what people are not prepared to do in all sorts of industries. They want the fruits at the end, but they're not willing to have, I would call it patience, but it's not really patience. It's just the long game. It's just understanding that if you want to build a house, a building, it's one brick at a time. You set the foundations first. You dig the foundations, and that's your knowledge. That's having the goal. That's having the outlook of what you want to achieve and having the kind of work ethic that allows you to build the bricks afterwards. That's the foundation level. Just you're the kind of person that can do this. And then you start working one brick at a time. And it's not, it will take years, if not decades, for you to even get in the car in the first place. And then you're too old for the original goal. So then you change your big goal. But that's life. If you're not in a position to pay for a drive and go and live this lifestyle that you want, you've got to create it. Nobody else. And nobody needs to believe in you. It's irrelevant. This is down to you to believe in yourself and just to simply take the small actions every day. And I promise you, you will get somewhere. You'll find your way. But if you're not starting in the first place because the goal seems too big, you're not starting in the first place because your beliefs tell you it's too hard, or you don't want it, your comfort zone is way too small. The circle that you live in, and the comfort zone is the parameter around the outside. If that's too narrow, so you won't even talk to people, you won't even make that call or put yourself out there, you're trapped. There's plenty to this. But at the end of the day, when I get people texting me and messaging me saying, I don't know the first step, Google it. It's your job to find out the first step. The first step to becoming a race driver is to get a bloody race license. And then you go and find out what you can afford and you go and enter it. Not difficult. And if you're not getting on with it, it's another year has passed and you're still not taking action, you've got to kick your own backside. Nobody else. Your life is completely there for you to design. You've been born into it. You've already won to be here in the first place. How many times I used to say that back in the day, if you followed me over the years. You won the biggest competition. Now you can do whatever you want while you're here. So I don't want any bitching about how hard it is and difficult it is and all the excuses that people have for not achieving and moving forward and planting and building and putting them bricks in place every single day, and start to build. What can you do today, this week, today, that will actually gently move you forward? And you keep putting them on top of each other and you watch what happens after 3 years. You will get somewhere. I promise you. And that's how success is. You think people make it overnight? They don't. It might be in their father. So if someone's racing and their father's paid for it, it's all the hard work the father did in their lifetime. Sorry, I'm sweating. It's hot here in Spain. But you're the one that's going to have to start this. You're going to have to take the reins, take control of your own life, set the foundation, and put them bricks in place.